If you're thinking about buying in San Jose, listen up. Even smart buyers are getting blindsided by sudden market shifts, surprise costs, and deals falling apart overnight. So in this video, I'm breaking down the biggest ways buyers are getting caught off guard and how to avoid them. I'm Theresa, a local real estate agent here in San Jose, and these are the things I see every week that could cost you thousands. Let's start with one of the #1 ways buyers lose out before they even realize what happened, and that is a quick market change. How fast can the market really shift in San Jose? Well, I've seen it several times over my 20 years in real estate that the market can change tremendously in just 2 weeks. Yes, really, 2 weeks. This spring was a true example of that. When tariffs were announced and the stock market reacted, the real estate market here in San Jose was completely different in just 2 weeks. The momentum and overbidding that we saw in January and February just dissipated after the volatility in the economy and the stock market changes hit. So why do buyers miss out when they wait too long? Well, it depends on the market direction, of course, but buyers relying on old data are either missing out on great deals or overpaying. A buyer could overpay in a quick shift like we just saw happen in early March this year when the market actually shifted and they may be looking at old comparable sales. Pending sales show what's actually happening in the market. Closed sales, which are more frequently referenced, tell the story of the market from 30 to 90 days ago and therefore won't really tell you the immediate market, including the amount of competition, what the pending sales have actually sold for, and what kind of activity or action they got. So in times like this, you can wait, but I suggest you don't wait. What you do instead is reach out and be proactive and jump in and negotiate before sellers even adjust their price. Because by the time you see a price drop on Zillow, the opportunity probably is already gone and may have spurred even more buyers to jump in and build in multiple offers. I've seen buyers wait a week or two, think about it, and then lose out on a great deal because they just sat back and waited. So what's a recent example of a neighborhood that flipped really quickly in the market? Well, back in early March, when those big signs of the downward stock prices hit, you could immediately note less offers on properties, some properties sitting on the market for a longer time. And at that time, Almaden Valley, there were literally no sales at all for 2 weeks. So some markets just completely froze. So if understanding the actual market of what's going on right now is important, well, there's another factor that hits your wallet every single month, and it's catching buyers off guard. Of course, living here in San Jose is expensive, and the cost of living is high compared to the US average. Our median home prices are over $1.75 million. And so everyday costs could surprise buyers. What kind of costs are those? Well, for example, the fuel for your commute because you decided to buy a house even further south than you anticipated to meet your budget, but now you're paying for extra gas or extra charging time for your Tesla. That adds up to your costs every month. Another big surprise one is if you've been living in a small apartment or something, is going to be utility bills. Buying a single family home, paying your utility bills is going to be a pretty significant amount of money every month. For example, a standard home that's around 2,000 square feet could easily be $600 a month for your PG&E bill. Then you have property taxes, which are a huge amount of money each month. In the San Jose area, the property taxes really relatively percentage-wise are not that high, but with our median price of homes at $1.76 million today, buyers are paying about $1,833 in taxes each month for that median home. And so when you break that down, that really adds up. Even starter condos can cost more than $800,000 to purchase, putting those property taxes quite significant as well. So what's the real monthly cost of owning a home? Well, I would encourage you to check out some of my other videos where I break down all the payments and down payments and such as that, so that you have a really good view of the reality of buying a home in San Jose. Check out the card above. People budget for mortgage, but they forget about those property taxes that can be $1,500 a month or more. They forget about those utility bills and $7 lattes that really add up fast. So speaking of monthly costs, there's one bill that will surprise almost every new homeowner, and it's those property taxes that we're talking about. So we're going to go into it a little bit more to understand how are property taxes calculated in California. Well, it varies by county and by special local taxes that happen. But in Santa Clara County, the amount is 1.25% of your purchase price, which is then adjusted every year. So your property taxes aren't frozen when you buy the property. They're going to continue to go up every year. Now, the good news is that California has Prop 13, which keeps taxes from increasing too long for long-time owners. It caps the increase each year to just 2% when our market home values historically increase between 6 and 8% a year. So as you can see, if you've been in a property 20 or 30 years or more, the taxes you're paying are going to be significantly lower than the market rate tax, which is a huge thank you to Prop 13. Now, the downside is when you transfer ownership of the property, that will reset to the sales price. But as soon as you're an owner, you will continue to benefit from that 2% cap each year. So that means maybe the owner of the home is only paying $4,000 in taxes every year, but when you purchase it, it could easily jump up quite significantly at that median home price to like $22,000 a year overnight. So of course, the property tax assessor and the county government are celebrating with that extra money, that's for sure. Now, just to put it into perspective, I had a buyer thrilled to get in the home under asking price. Then they saw their new tax bill. Now, of course, we talked about it, but I think until you actually see the numbers, it really hits home. The previous owner was only paying $3,800 a year, and my client, they had to pay $17,200 a year. Oh, that hurt for sure. But it's reality here. So keep in mind that 1.25%, which is a conservative calculation of what you would owe on property taxes. So even if you can afford the taxes, there's something else that's making buyers hesitate, and it's not about the money. So I think what's happening right now is that buyers are being blindsided by the fear of the economy. Now, what happens when buyers get scared? They just don't act. They usually sit and freeze. Homes sit unsold, even like really nice, great homes. Maybe homes are overpriced and that's why they're sitting, or maybe it's just because buyers are not moving. Like I mentioned in Almaden, that happened for 2 weeks, not one single sale in the entire area. So what does Warren Buffett say about this? Well, you'll continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything. True power is sitting back and observing things with logic. Now, Warren Buffett advice applies. Act when others are afraid, because fear creates opportunity, but only for those who see it, right? So if everybody else is sitting back in fear, I can tell you there's some great opportunities right now for buyers in the market, but it's likely that's going to shift here again really soon because the message gets around and it seems like buyers act in droves and like a market masses. So as they start to hear positive news, then everybody jumps back in and we return to the original market conditions. So really what you want to do is not pay attention to the fear that you're hearing in the market, but stay true to your goal. If you're planning to buy a home and you find a home that fits your needs, move forward. Because if you watched a lot of my videos before, it's not about timing the market of when to buy. It's about holding it as a long-term investment, improving it as you can, and selling it when the time comes that you will likely see a great profit. So how can you tell when fear is driving the market? Well, if you're a home buyer, you're probably noticing, if you've been out there the last couple of weeks, there's a lot less buyers going to open houses. That's one of your first signs. If you're talking to agents who are active in the market, they're going to probably tell you there's less offers, or you may see properties sitting on the market even longer, or even price drops. These are all signs that something funny is going on in the market and there's opportunities out there. So keep in mind those properties that are sitting and being able to negotiate on the price or some other terms that might make it the right fit for you. So when the market feels uncertain, buyers pull back, but when everyone's scared, that's when those deals show up. So I encourage you to work past that fear and think logically about the entire process, because fear is just emotional and it's a very real physical factor, but obviously what you want to do is keep straight on your goals. So this is a real factor that's frustrating buyers every day. We can acknowledge fear is emotional and maybe not really set on logic. But another item that's blindsiding buyers every day are school scores. Yes, believe it or not, a lot of new homeowners are looking for top-rated schools. And they might be completely distracted by the aggregate score of great schools. And they might see that those scores are changing and they can quickly change. And how does that make sense? Well, really what I encourage is that you should really check the schools out by doing more deep dive on the district, on the actual school, on what's important to you. Don't look at just the aggregate number, but instead look at the school scores, or talk to the principal, or talk to the district about the school and what they do to really understand if it's a right fit for your family. Don't get so stuck on that aggregate number because it could blindside you. That number can shift but ultimately the quality of the school is not shifting up and down multiple times throughout the year. Those scores do, and there are some mathematical algorithm based on improvements and a whole bunch of other factors, but what you need to know is that you should really do your diligence to find out if the school is the right fit for you and understand the breakdown of those numbers and understand the actual district and what makes it unique and good. One other little thing is that a lot of buyers think because a home is assigned to a certain school that is just like tried and true. So beware, you need to call the district and verify or use their online tool to verify that indeed is the correct school for that property. But you also need to check the enrollment because I have seen buyers purchase in a neighborhood thinking they're going to get into that school and it was mid-year and the school was impacted or full and their student actually had to be moved to a neighboring school that maybe wasn't rated as well. So again, do your due diligence and do your homework because buying a home in Almaden Valley doesn't mean it's zoned for Leland High School or that they have space for your student coming in. And I've seen buyers pay a premium thinking they're getting into a top school only to find out, oops, like something's changed or it's not going to work out for them. So again, do your homework. Now, all these items for sure can blindside buyers, but the real secret weapon in the market is who you're working with. Believe it or not, your agent has a huge difference on how knowledgeable you are about the property and how focused you can be to find the right fit for you. So do your research to find an agent who is knowledgeable about the area you want to live and also who does at least 10 to 15 transactions a year or more. I do well over 20. That's how I have a good sense of these market shifts and how it changes in a couple weeks or not. You want an agent who's going to be able to sense any changes and inform you of those market shifts and opportunities so you're up to date and active in the current market. So what should you ask an agent before working with them? Well, first off, you really should interview multiple agents and compare. You should ask an agent how they help you with prepping the offer, how they do disclosure reviews, how knowledgeable they are about particular properties and what's common and what's not, and how to repair it. And like how they help with the offer writing and negotiating and how much advice and guidance they're going to give you. Because being a buyer, you only do this every so often, or maybe you've never bought a home before. So you need some true expert guidance. And while you're talking to the agent, have them give recent examples of actual clients. Check out their testimonials to make sure that they really do know what's latest and greatest and what you can expect from them throughout the process. Can the wrong agent cost you money? Absolutely. I've seen many buyers get into contract with another agent who did not explain the disclosures to them, and the repair costs or potential issues cause them to have really big repair bills early on in their ownership. I mean, I've seen people sum $50,000 or more that they just really didn't even know was an issue because their agent didn't go through those disclosures and put it in context for them. Or the agent didn't have the knowledge. I don't know exactly what happened there, but it's really important that you have an agent who's knowledgeable that can help you with that. Also, I've seen multiple offers come in as a listing agent and have one offer really stick out. I mean, like $50,000, $75,000, even $100,000 higher than the second place offer. Ooh, that buyer sure missed out on saving some money and overspent for that property. That hurts the pocketbook. And maybe those hidden repairs that weren't disclosed, you could have spent that extra money on those instead of overpaying for the house with an overzealous offer. So not all agents are active in today's market, and agents doing more deals have a much better access to the market rhythms, coming off-market listings, and can really guide you through the process. Inexperienced agents may rely on outdated comps and may not know how to explain repairs or who to contact for a fair repair estimate. So the right agent can save you thousands and the wrong one can cost you just as much. So if you're thinking about buying in San Jose, here's what I'd like to say personally. Don't wait for the perfect time. Be aware of pending sales and activity and specific home activity to know how the market is responding and how you need to move forward with your offer. Act when you see the right home that appears and negotiate if there's an opportunity to do that. Get pre-approved and even better, underwritten for your loan and know your numbers so you can move quickly on the financing part and work with someone who's active in the market every week so that you've got up-to-date guidance. So if you're serious about buying, don't sit on the fence. The best deals are quiet, fast, and gone before you realize it. If you're thinking about buying in San Jose and want someone who's in the market every day, watching the shifts in real time, Reach out. I'll help you spot opportunities that others are missing and avoid the mistakes that are costing buyers big right now. Call or text me at the number on the screen, and I'll get back to you personally. Still trying to figure out where the best deals in San Jose are hiding? Well, check out this next video where I tour inside a dreamy family home in one of San Jose's top neighborhoods. Click it now, and I'll see you there.